Last time around, we started an ambitious save to try and take Weymouth, statistically the worst English team on FM24, from the Vanarama South to the top. And by the top, I mean winning the Premier League or the Champions League. In the last video, we did our first 5 seasons of the save, and it went really well. We flew up the leagues, and at the end of season 5, we booked our place in the Championship for next year. It was courtesy of this 6-4 win against Preston North End in the playoff final. So from the Vanarama South to the Championship, it now gets really serious and potentially even more tricky. Can we turn Weymouth with our brilliant new gen talisman striker, Scott Lucas? Can we turn this team into one that genuinely challenges at the very top? Well, that's what we're going to do. 5 more seasons. Let's get into them. So we rejoin the story with the club now in the Championship, as you can see here. These will be our opponents this season. I'm quite quietly excited about this one, despite the fact that if you do have a look at the season preview, we're predicted to finish 23rd. Now, the reason that I am slightly excited is we've got no money. There is that. We've got £11 million in the bank, which is actually great for a club like Weymouth, isn't it? The projection does say it's going to go down as well. But the reason that I'm excited is, despite only having £2 million to go and spend, we do have quite a few players seeing their contract expiring this summer. That goes from Jerez going back from his loan. Gellart, Vigouroux, Molden, Sykes, Empis and Mellish are all seeing their contracts expiring, which is maybe about £40,000 per week to go and spend on new players. But we've only got £2 million. But let me show you why I'm quietly confident. I've compiled a shortlist of all of these players that none of them are expensive. The most expensive on this list is Gift Zulu, who is between 600k and £9 million. But he's fantastic. He's a 6'3" centre-back. And the reason I show you him is because I'm going to make a plan now. I've got an idea. It might work brilliantly. It might see us stagnate a little bit in the Championship. Either way, I'm going to go and sign players like these guys who are new gens. Cristiano Carr is a fantastic name, by the way. New gens that are really, really good and super, super cheap. There's loads in the English pyramid. This guy's playing at Barnet down in the National League, and he's way too good for the National League, I would say. He's unhappy because he wants to leave after they've been relegated as well. There's loads of these great players. This guy, Sig Pawson, maybe he's related to, remember the Championship manager legend, Sig Pawson? His name started with an A. Maybe it's his long lost son, perhaps. I'm going to speculate that that is the case because it makes me want to sign him even more. But this guy's 19. He's Icelandic. Roy Kelly has got a great name. He's a good young goalkeeper. I particularly like, and the scouts really like, Alex Russell, who is a midfielder. Less than £1 million, look, playing for Carlisle. I think they can do a job in the Championship. So that's sort of my plan at this stage, is to go and do a bit of transfer business here to try and set us up to try and survive the Championship. I mean, who knows? If you think about it, we have been trying to survive in many leagues over the past 5 seasons, and then most seasons we end up getting promoted because we just get on a bit of a roll. Using this 4-4-2 system, or actually switching to this one as well with the 3 defenders too, they're working, and the players that we've got fit the system because we've had years now of trying to bring in players that will fit the system. I think if we can bring in 1 or 2 of those players that I've got on my shortlist, who knows? Let's just see what can happen. A few other things to update you before we properly get into today's video. We are currently trying to extend the Bob Lucas Stadium. It's going to have 13,704 seats. However, if we get promoted to the Prem, that's still going to be really small. We might well outgrow it, which is my plan, is to hopefully outgrow it. But it is nice to see that they are actually spending money on the stadium, and it's up to 8k now. It's going to be 13k. I think that's pretty cool to see. But right now, I need to go and see if I can go and do that transfer business to turn this squad of really good players into a really great squad of really young players, new gens specifically. So let's go do some transfer business. And here we go. Here is that transfer business completed then. We have spent a total of £13 million. We've sold players for the value of £7.5 million, which is more than I was expecting. It did allow us to go and get a few extra players in. We have sadly said goodbye to Jack Rodoni. He's gone for £5.75 million. He's a really good player, but he's 28. And I think the players that we've replaced him with for about the same type of money, this 13 million that we spent, I've used a few installments here. So that 2 million, I've stretched it as much as I could, that 2 million transfer budget. We have spent 250k on Cristiano Carr. He's going to be one of our striker options. He's 21. He's Jamaican. He came from Barnet. I showed you him before. He's got really good pace, really good acceleration, good finishing. I think 15 off the ball, 13 technique. Attributes in all of the right places to, I think, be a really good championship striker. He's also in good company, isn't he, with players like Scott Lucas in there. He will be the replacement for the outgoing Julio Cesar Jerez. I am sad to see him go, but actually, if you compare the two players, I mean, actually, let's do that right now. If you compare him with Cristiano Carr, I wonder if we're kind of getting, he's got better technicals, does Jerez. They're similar, and Carr's a little bit quicker, and I mean, he's actually a year older. So I feel like we've got a good replacement, but it is, of course, sad to see Jerez go, is my point there. I've also, though, gone big on some other players too. He might not even be a starter card because we have brought in Alex Russell. I told you I was kind of most excited about him. He comes in for about 3 million, more than I was hoping for, but he looks really good. He's only 19 as well. He's got an under 21 cap for Scotland, so he should be decent for us, I do think. Roy Kelly, great name, reminds me of Roy Kent a little bit from Ted Lasso, but he's a goalie, 20 years old. I showed you him before as well. Phil Jackson, £3 million on him. He looks like my type of centre-back. He's tall, he's relative, I say quick, he's not quick, he's left-footed. He will be a threat though in the air with this 16 jumping reach and also okay heading at 12. He is only 20 as well though, so should get better too. This is where I'm like thinking long-term, or a little bit more long-term, because at this stage now we're buying players permanently that I expect to stay at the club a little bit more permanently, whereas before it was free transfers that I knew I was just going to have to move on and try and upgrade on. If these guys develop, then actually we won't need to replace them because they will turn into championship. Maybe even some of them Premier League standard. If you have a look at their potential, it does say that he is, I mean, he's League 2 at the moment, so maybe he's not quite there, but he does have really high potential. So he's going to grow from that type of, from the player that he is here, he's going to grow into a really good player, Cristiano Carr, as just an example. I did sign this Sig Pawson guy because, yeah, his dad was a legend on Championship Manager, whatever it was back in the day. Sammy Sherring comes in for 600k, young midfielder. He's only 20. Gif Zulu, great name, £5 million. He is now, I believe, our record ever signing at 5 million, rising to 6 million. 6'3" centre-back. I think he can be from Zambia as well, which is quite fun, isn't it? Winston Kennedy for 350k. Look how good this guy is as a striker. 350k. He might even be better than Cristiano Carr at the moment, but we will see. And then finally, this is a fun one. Courtney George is back, everybody. He is on loan from Leicester. We had to say goodbye to him for that £7 million. He played no games in the Premier League for them, and now we have him back in the Championship. He's going to be a loan signing for us, which I think is lovely. There is no obligation to buy or optional fee that we can exercise, but it's nice to have him, and we're not paying any wages for him either. So I think even just for the storyline, it's worth bringing him back in. All of that said, though, we did have to say goodbye to a few other favourites, I'll probably say. Josh Achiapang went for just under £1 million to Hearts of Oak. I think that's in Ghana, isn't it? Yeah, it's a Ghanaian team. Okay, is he related to Godwin Antwi? He's just got to say it's just a Ghanaian name, I think. I know Godwin Antwi from his time at Liverpool. I don't know him, but he was at Liverpool, is what I mean by that. Harry Toffolo went for 20k. Zach Orr, he was a big favourite, man. I really liked him. He was a solid centre-back. He's gone to Sheffield Wednesday for 950k. Empis on a free and Vigouroux on a free, as well as released players. There were a few. Joe Gellart, Louis Moulden, goalkeeper that's been here for a really long time, hasn't played loads recently, but did have one season where he played the entire season. Look, he's gone as well. Mark Sykes and then John Mellish, all gone. I kind of showed you that list of contracts expiring, didn't I? There is a few more that we have in the works. Players like Terry Devlin might well go as well for about 800k, and Daniel Jebison for about 1.3 mil. And we might sign this guy here, Namandi Nweki, for about 200k. Yeah, it is 200k. There is also a chance that Bright Chukwuemeka might also leave. We're getting lots of offers for him. It's a loan offer now, which I have rejected, but there was a lot of interest in him earlier on in the window too, so we'll just keep an eye on that one. But with all of that said, we're now predicted to finish 19th, so we have improved the squad definitely. As I kept saying throughout this series, the aim of this season is to try and finish solidly in the division. Maybe if we can push for mid-table, maybe look to try and sneak into the playoffs. That'd be glorious. Who knows though? We dare to dream in this save, because so far it's sort of proven to us that we can, because we've overachieved in every single season so far. This is what the 11 looks like at the moment. We have got Sig Pawson and Lucas as first choice. Romeo Beckham will continue to play for us. I just love the idea that we've given him an actual career. He looks quite good as well. His value's at £10 million now, although I did make it 10 million. because there was a bit of interest in him, and I'm not selling Romeo Beckham. We're going to have Stockwell on the left-hand side. He's new, Stevie Stockwell. I don't know if I showed you him before, but he's new. Was that because he came in before the tick over? It was. There's 4 more here that I haven't shown you, but you kind of get the idea. They're new gens that were quite cheap. There's a 2 million George Stanton, Dwayne Myers, and Stevie Stockwell, as I've just shown you, and then Ben Deacon as well. So we've got a full squad. It's a really full, big squad that we've got now with players that could all jump in and play if needed. I'm quite happy with it. I'm wondering whether we may be able to overachieve again. Right, we are in January. I've gone to the 24th of Jan, and I just look at it. Just literally just look at it. I don't know what else to say at this point. This team constantly exceed all expectations. I will put this tactic, this 4-4-2. Honestly, I don't think it's that special, but I'll put it on the Patreon because if you want to go and use it, feel free to. It is now shooting us up through all of the leagues. I genuinely think the tactic, we actually tested how much of an effect a really good tactic can have on a team. If you still don't have good players, it will overachieve for you, but it won't do this, I don't think, unless you sign good players. So I do think a lot of our success has come from the recruitment that we're able to do every summer. This team of players is really good. So like Stevie Stockwell signed in the summer for 600k, has got 17 goals in the championship. Before that, he was playing in League 2. He's got a 7.31 average rating. These players exist. Once you get to this sort of stage, just go and look at, I mean, if you're playing in England, go and look in the English leagues, just at lower league teams, because the players exist in there. As well as that, look at Sig Pawson that we managed to bring in. He scored 12 goals with a 7.65 average rating as well. He was brought in, by the way, 10k. I know that that's not the same as the other ones because he was playing in Iceland, but 10k he cost us, and he scored a whole host of goals in the championship. Romeo Beckham even, that's a great example of it as well, isn't it? He has scored 14 goals in 33 games in the first half of this season. 19 goals from Ben Deacon. Our main man, Scott Lucas, has played a lot of games and scored 11 goals in 27. By the way, he has become the record goal scorer for Weymouth in their history. He's got 95 goals now in 208 games. If I go to the history here and the records, you can see in there, look, 95 goals is the most league goals by a player. So Scotty Lucas, our boy, who came in as a new intake player, I wonder if he might have just about reached where he's going to get to. It says here that he's reached his potential. He is 22, so maybe there's a little bit of growth left. But if we get to the Prem, which looks highly likely, you can bet your bottom dollar that Scotty Lucas is still going to be in that squad. Maybe even starting. He's played a lot of games to get us here. But this team of new gen players, and they are mainly new gen. If I show you on here, they are entirely new gen starting, except for Christian Walton, who has played 39 games as the goalie. And even then, if Roy Kelly came in, there wouldn't be a huge drop off, but Walton is a little bit better at the moment. Otherwise, it's a purely new gen team, except for Walton and Romeo Beckham. And I'm classing him as a new gen because he's David Beckham's son. And does he exist in real life? He's not really a footballer, is he? So I'm sort of counting him as a new gen too. There is, though, a reason why I've come back on this particular date in January, and it's not because there's a massive bid in for Chukwuemeka of £3 million, which we might have to accept. Instead, it's because we are in a Carabao Cup semi-final. We've gone on a glorious run, as well as, I mean, the championship results, they kind of speak for themselves. 23 wins in 33 games. We've only lost 4 times. It looks like we're going to romp home and get ourselves to the Prem way ahead of schedule. I do honestly think there will be a bit of turmoil in this save and it will get difficult. We've got 4 seasons after this, right? But so far, super easy. But the thing I want to show you now is this Carabao Cup run. If I take away all of those and just show you the Carabao Cup, we have beaten Port Vale 4-0. We have beaten AFC Wimbledon 4-0. We have beaten Luton 4-2. Romeo Beckham gets a goal in that one and this one, look. We've beaten Arsenal 3-0. Ben Deacon, by the way, has been very solid for us. I'll show you him here. He is a rotation striker for us, but in 22 games, he scored 14 goals. 6'3". If you've got good physicals and you're tall, you'll score goals in Football Manager. Who knew? I knew. That's why we signed him. But I'll show you the goals in this one. We beat Arsenal. This must be it. The game was a dog of a game, by the way. I think it was 5 shots on target from both teams over the course of the 90. We scored 3 of ours, though. One mistake from them, look, letting Deacon to score the opening goal. That was 1-0. Perhaps this Arsenal team isn't quite the way it used to be, but I'm happy to... It's our biggest scalp so far, isn't it? Deacon then scores the second at the near post. Assist from Romeo Beckham, look. crossing it in from the right-hand side. It's just, that might be my favourite bit of narrative in this entire save. There's Stanton as well, making it 3-0. 3-0 win there. We then beat Brighton 3-2. And then at the start of January, we've played the first leg of the semi-final against Manchester United and beat them. We beat them 3-2. Do you remember last year where we played them in the FA Cup and got soundly beaten? We're a better team now. We beat them 3-2 in this one. Jackson, George, and then Kennedy right at the end after they did get 2 goals back to equalise. Rivera and Nico Williams plays for them. Like, we're beating teams that have Nico Williams in them. We have now, though, got the second leg. So I'm going to go and play this second leg before I give you an update on the rest of the season and let you know whether we're going to a Carabao Cup final. So I'm going to go play it. So we lost. We lost 4-1. We had the lead, 3-2 lead as well. It was a goal from Benjamin Sesko in the first half. We did then go 2-0 down. It was Garnacho who ran through to make it 2-0. At this stage, we were actually officially behind until at the start of the second half, we actually got ourselves back level again. It's a move down the left-hand side. Lucas gets it there. I think he goes back. It gets played back out. Comes to Courtney George and he smashes it in. Look, at this stage, we're back level at 3-3 on aggregate. And then, well, a 4-4 on aggregate, actually. And then Manchester United did this. It was another goal from I think it's Sky Vink who heads it in. He's a good little FM player, by the way. He got the assist for that goal as well to make it 6-4 on aggregate. We lost 4-1. It is against United, so maybe I shouldn't have been expecting to get to a Carabao Cup final when we're a championship team. But it just goes to show, I think it's a good way to gauge exactly where we are, because we are somehow smashing the league, but still when you come up against top teams like Manchester United, we've got a long way to go. So I wouldn't expect us to go into the Prem next year and be able to immediately challenge, which is the aim of this challenge, isn't it? So whilst it's a shame, it's not the end of the world, is it? I'm now going to go to the end of this season. If there's a title race, I'll be back to share it with you. If we end up going and winning the league by the comfortable margin that we're winning it now, I'll see you when we are Premier League bound. Fingers crossed. See you in like April, May. And here we are. It's nearly May. It's the 29th of April and we are champions. We have beaten Fulham. We have beaten Burnley, Sunderland, Bristol City, Swansea to win the championship. 96 points, 29 wins, 9 draws, 8 losses. A truly outstanding season. Again, massively overachieving, but I'm having so much fun with the save. It just shows what is achievable. Like, Football Manager, I think I'd love it to be more tricky sometimes, and maybe I could make it tricky, but it seems a little bit, I kind of don't want to manufacture difficulty when I've been using this tactic, this system since the beginning, and I'm still kind of doing that anyway by keeping players like Romeo Beckham in the team. Romeo Beckham's not good enough, I mean, attributes wise, to be doing what he is, but I've played him in pretty much every game. He has played 46 games this season and scored 15 goals. Stevie Stockwell, signed for 600k, has got 23 goals, 26 in all competitions and 6 assists. We've even kept our new gen from the Vanarama South in our team, developed him to the maximum, I'm going to say at this stage, with his 10 finishing, and he's got himself now 13 goals in the championship. He's played in every league so far. So maybe I am manufacturing a little bit of difficulty, but we're still managing to do this. Again, I'll say it, as I've said pretty much every season, maybe next year will be harder. Let's go to the Premier League. Can't actually believe I'm saying that already. For season number 7, we'll give ourselves 3 seasons to turn newly promoted into title challengers. It should be difficult, but who's to say we can't go and do it? Let's go and see how we can spend our £20 million. Weymouth with 20 million to go and spend. Let's go and see what we can do with this money now. I've already made some bids. We've got a new centre-back potentially coming in called Ryan Rooney, and Gerson Salas, which is quite a cool name, isn't it? He's a left-sided centre-back, potentially coming in for, again, really cheap comparatively for how good they are. 3,800,000. So I'm already busy with transfer business. £236,000 per week wage budget. I could actually make it 32 mil to go and spend, but I'm not going to do that because I actually do want the wage budget going into this season. But let's go and get ourselves ready. I'll see you when I've built a team ready to tackle the Premier League. Come on. So as we head into being a Premier League team, of that £20 million budget that we were given at the end of last season, we've spent it and also topped it up with some good sales too. This is the first big sale that I need to show you. First of all, this is last season's transfers plus some more recent ones. Anything with 2029 here. In fact, from Paddy Grant onwards, we signed this Federico Roxo for £1 million in January. I don't think I showed you him before, but he's really good too. These guys here are the signings that we made that went in before the tick over. So there's about 5, 7, there's probably about £12 million there, maybe a little bit more. But that money that we spent on those kind of just came from one big sale, and that was in January. Didn't update you on this one before. I did talk about there being some interest in him though. Bright Chukwuemeka did go to Ipswich for like £16 million. So 12 million up front, rising to 16 million. So we spent that money before the summer had started. And then I arranged a lot of these before that season had actually finished. And then we've been given that 20 million for this season too. I'll show you these players very quickly. Maybe this guy here at the top is maybe the one that I'm most excited about. His name is Jose Carlos Neto. He's a 6'6" striker. Do you see why I'm excited about him? He's going to potentially lead our line alongside Scott Lucas in the Premier League for our maiden Premier League season. He's now got a really good value as well. That's one of these things with these new gens coming from leagues like Portugal, and he's playing for Arouca he's in the Premier League of Portugal. Their value shifts up massively when it comes to the Premier League. So £2.5 million to sign him. If we were to sell him on, we could get serious money, a bit like Bright Chukwuemeka, who we did move on for big money. It kind of has given me the idea that we should keep signing them. I know it's a lot of players coming in through the door, and I did talk about trying to develop the ones we've got. I'm also going to be looking to shift them on if we get big bids. I think if I feel like I can get a replacement that's better, it should become a little bit of like a kind of Moneyball situation without the Moneyball aspect of only looking at data, but Moneyball in terms of trying to give us the money we need to compete at the top by buying and selling for profits. Hopefully that makes sense. We also did sell Daniel Jebison, but I think I showed you that one before. The other signings that came in were Federico Mendy, who is a left winger. He's pretty good. He is a 19-year-old Senegalese player. Gerson Salas, who I think I showed you that I was tracking and trying to sign before. Joe Johnston, who came in as well, who I think I showed you this one as well. He was one that we were looking for. And then Fernando Mota, who is the most expensive of the players that we've signed before the tick over. He is a defensive midfielder from Brazil, capped at under 20 level as well. Now he's 21. He may be a little bit worse than some of the players at the moment, but he has huge potential, it would seem. So he's hopefully going to get better. 6 foot DM. Segundo Volante as well as where we're training him, because that's what we use, isn't it? He could become that Segundo Volante. Will he be as good as Bandeiro, our hero from the start of the save? I'm not sure. Paddy Grant is then the final one. He's also a winger. And then into this summer's actual transfers after July the 1st, here is an example of those sales that I was talking about. Gif Zulu, he was here not for very long, but I've sold him on for £6.5 million. So it is a nice small profit, but it gives us money that I think basically he's a centre-back. We've now got better centre-backs. So to get our money back and then a little bit more, I feel like it just makes sense. We've sold him for 6 million, rising to 6.5. Roberto was great for us for a couple of seasons, actually. It was 3 seasons he spent with us, 200k signing, £6 million sale to Las Palmas in Spain. So he's gone. Cristiano Carr's gone on loan. Ebo's gone on loan. Winston Kennedy's gone on loan, as well as these guys down here going out on loan. So these young players, if I don't think they're going to play, I will try and get them first team football, because then maybe we can sell them on for a profit, or they develop into the players that they can become, because they still do have decent potential to improve as well. So Cristiano Carr is on loan. And then these are our signings for this summer, hopefully taking us to a level where we can compete in the Premier League, because that would be lovely. I mean, order number 1 is having a look at this here. It's to attempt to avoid relegation from the Premier League. And that is for me as well. Usually I ignore the club vision and the board instructions for us, the board objectives for us. But this time, if we stay up, I'm happy, because our budgets and everything like that are so much lower than all of the other teams around. In fact, I want to show you that. Can I show you that before a ball is kicked? I'm not even sure I can I? If I go to team details, there, as soon as this starts, remind me in like January or something when we do an update, I'll show you you can't remind me, I don't know why I've said that. I'll show you the salary per annum, because I think it's quite interesting, and we're going to be way down towards the bottom, I would guess. Anyway, these are our signings. Regis Mandanda is a winger, left winger, 6'5", which is always a bonus. Angolan international. He signs for 3.6. Montero is a new goalkeeper. He's 6'7". I think I finally found our actual long-term goalie now. We thought last season it was going to be that Roy guy, Roy Kelly. I just don't think it's going to be Roy Kelly. He's all right, but this guy's better, the one that we've signed for this season. Francisco Montera. Tony Debula, South African. fantastic youngster at 20, signing for only 500k. I love signing these South African players from teams like SuperSport United and Sundowns, for example, because you can find real bargains. Hopefully he's going to be one. Ariel Villalobos, a Costa Rican. I don't know why I've gone for the pronunciation like that. He's a Costa Rican international right back. He's left-footed, which is annoying, but he's really good. And he's a new gen fullback, wing back that can actually cross, which is a very, very rare breed, isn't it? So he comes in. And finally, Ryan Rooney from Hearts. I think we've brought in 2 players from Hearts this summer. Ryan Rooney, who is a pretty solid 6'4" left-footed centre-back. And then I think, did we get another one from Hearts this summer? We did. Joe Johnston also came in from Hearts too. So we've taken both of their new gen centre-backs and can possibly become our Scottish back line, as you can see on here. This is the team heading into our first game of the season, which is away at United. So it's a really tough start. We know that we will probably lose to them, but we're going for safety this summer. Montero in goal, Roxo, Stanton as fullbacks, Rooney and Joe Johnston are Scottish guard at the back. Salas as the DM with Motta as the Segundo Volante, where we're training him. Stockwell on the left, he was the hero of last year. So many goals from him. Romeo Beckham, he's going to play Premier League football. Again, his value's at 24 million now. That is because I've put his value right at the very top that I could get it to, and he'd still be happy with it. I'm not sure he's good enough for the Premier League, but we're going to give him a go. He's now 27. I'd love it if he got an England cap. I don't think he's going to, but the fact that he's playing Premier League football, I think is glorious. I really want to get him a Premier League goal. Likewise, with Lucas, Scott Lucas up front. He's almost Premier League quality, isn't he? But not quite. He's 23 now, but he's now going to complete the set every single league that he's played for as soon as he makes that Premier League debut. And I mean, look how quickly we've rose up those leagues. It's just the one time where we stayed in the same division for 2 years in a row, and that was League One after was it the playoff final that we lost? I think it was, wasn't it? He's going to partner Sigporsson up front, and then we've got a whole host of other players on the bench too. I think make us really quite good. This Neto could easily come in for Sigporsson, but I'm going to go with our known and trusted player who scored a lot of goals for us last year. So Sigporsson may be going to start. What I'm going to do this time, because I think it might be, well, we'll see. I kind of thought this would be the case for other ones. I think this one might be a little bit more tricky. So I feel like we might do a few more updates rather than in previous seasons. I've gone to do an update and then we were just killing it. So I was like, we might as well do one like in Jan and then at the end of the season and race through. This season, it might be a little bit more turbulent, or well, that's what I'm expecting anyway. So maybe we'll go until like October so you can see the start of the season that we've had in this run here. And then maybe we'll do a January update and then maybe like a March update and then an end of a season update. Hopefully, maybe we'll do a little bit more of a focus on results now that we know that we're a Premier League team. Either way, it might not be the case. I might see you in Jan, but I'm going to go play some games now and I'll be back to tell you how they go. All right, so it is October now, towards the end of October. This has been our start to life in the Premier League. It's kind of what I expected. Finally, we've actually got what we expect, I think. We sit in 11th, which is absolutely glorious. Maybe you'd even argue that we are overachieving. But we've got some wins under our belt, and we've just gone on a 3-match losing run. We've played Arsenal away, Fulham at home, and then Man City away. So 2 of those you definitely expect us to lose, which we did. And then one that maybe you could get a result, but also Fulham are a good team. So I mean, they've got Pafundi, so they must be an amazing team. Also, we were down to 10 men. Our boy, Scott Lucas, got sent off after, and I'm going to show you it. He got sent off for this after 27 minutes, and he's now suspended for 3 games. As you can see, it's not great as he slides all the way back, all the way through the back there of Emile Smith-Rowe. Sent off, and ultimately we lost this game 4-2. But in brighter, better terms, we did get our first win of our life in the Premier League in our second game of the season after losing to Manchester United 2-1. We did beat Ipswich 4-0, and I want to show you this moment because it was the first Premier League goals for Scotty Lucas, and I just feel like in terms of the storyline, this is just poetic and beautiful, and it's just what you want to see. This was after about 15 minutes. Scotty Lucas picks it up on the left-hand side, and then eventually it comes over here towards Stanton on the right-hand side. His shot kind of at the keeper, Maric, but he couldn't keep it out. So it was 1-0 to us. And then the moment we've been waiting for, Sigporsson breaks forward into the box. Lucas finds himself, smashes it into that far corner. Maric doesn't move. 2-0 to us. Ipswich, not the best Premier League team we're going to come up against, but it was really nice to get ourselves off the mark, really. There's Lucas putting in his second. And then in the second half, we made sure of the victory. We're making it 4-0. Stockwell, He's very good for a big winger. Look how tall he is. For a big winger, he hangs it up to Sigpårdsson, who heads it in at 4-0. And we then backed it up with a 5-0 win and a 4-1 win. Again, look at this one. Look how good we are. Look how blooming good we are. I know we've lost games since, but dominating a team like Newcastle, who have good players. Raspadori, Penda's in there. Hjulmand is in there, look. Botman's playing left back, which is weird. Inacio's playing right-sided centre-back, which is also a bit weird. But we beat them 4-1, smashed them. We then did go out of the Carabao Cup to Wrexham. Slightly less good. We were 1-0 up as well in this game. Then we lost to them 2-1. But I'm going to say that that's because we're focusing on the league instead. We beat Leicester 4-0. Another goal for Lucas. Another 2 for Sigpårdsson. And then this run of losing 3 games. Overall, though, I know Scott Lucas is now suspended. Overall, though, what a really good start this has been. 6 goals in 9 for Sigpårdsson. 3 goals in 8 for Scott Lucas. He's now got, I think, over 100 goals. Yeah, 101 goals in 225 games. And there it is. Goals in every league in the English pyramid, all the way down to the Vanarama National League South, obviously, rather than lower than that. Also, Romeo Beckham has played 8 games. No goals yet. He's got 3 assists, but I'll be watching very closely for the day that he gets his first Premier League goal. Again, for him, it will be a goal in every league because he has scored even if it was only 2 in League One. He did score 9 this season before in there. So he needs to get his Premier League goal, just like his dad got a Premier League goal. He got loads of them actually in the end, didn't he? That'll be a nice story. Hasn't got his call up yet. England manager is Ernesto Valverde. So he'll know all about David Beckham. He's Spanish, you know, he played for Real Madrid and stuff. Maybe, just maybe, he'll call him up. I don't think it's going to happen though, is it? But we can hold out. He's not listed on the. He's not listed on the top players. We can hold out hope though. That would be a nice end. Maybe what we need to do is become England manager to give Scott Lucas and Romeo Beckham England caps. Now that is a seed that I've planted in my own head and something I will be looking forward to. We usually find that the England manager will get sacked if they don't win a major competition. So 2030 there'll be a World Cup, Euros, one of the two, and we'll find out. Maybe we'll keep an eye on that situation then. I've kind of convinced myself that I want to do that. There wasn't any more business or anything to update you on. We have still not moved, or we still haven't had our ground fully extended. It's still at 8,500, and the reason for that is because we've got some big news to share. Instead of extending the capacity, I didn't even know they could do this. Instead of extending the capacity of the Bob Lucas, instead we are moving in to the Weymouth Stadium in 2031. In 2 years' time, we're going to get an 18,000 seater. 18,000 seats. By that time, I kind of want to be challenging for the league, so it's still small, but at least it's a new stadium. It's annoying they didn't name it after me. I think technically I am a legend, so they could have done, couldn't they? Maybe in 2 years they'll change the name of it. I'm not sure. The Weymouth Stadium is the most boring thing that can happen though, isn't it? Either way, another thing that I did want to show you is the salary per annum for us. Team detailed, I can show you down here. We are, as predicted, very much bottom of this. We are spending just under £20 million in wages every year. The team that is above us in 19th is Sunderland, another team that's come from the Championship, 66 million. At the top, Man City on 390 million. That's what we're up against. We were very, very much predicted to finish bottom, 1,000 to 1. So far, though, so good, really. We find ourselves in 11th. 7 played, 3 wins, no draws, 4 losses. So we're losing more than we're winning. But 9 points on the board already, aiming for that big 40. Keep it going, I say. Let's go to January and get another update then. And here in January, it's more of the same, really. And I start by showing you the away game to that Ipswich game that I've just kind of shown you. We won 4-0 at home. We've won 6-0 away from home. Goals from Rooney, Villalobos, Johnston, Motta, Lucas with another goal, and Sigpårdsson, of course, with another goal too. Playing this 4-4-2, I need to show you something as well. Romeo Beckham has scored a Premier League goal. I'm going to go find it so we can watch it. It came in a 3-0 win against Sunderland, fellow relegation predicted team Sunderland. In the 22nd minute, it's just 1 goal so far, and this was that goal. Making his dad proud, I want to say. He picks it up. Eventually, he's playing right midfield. He's over here, look. That's Roxo into him. Smashes it into that far corner, look. And runs off to celebrate, I think, with the Sunderland fans there, which is a little bit antagonising, actually. But I wanted to show you that. I feel like these are big moments, though, that I need to share. Also in that game, Scott Lucas got another goal. He has scored 9 goals in the Premier League in 16 appearances. He's our hero. He's my hero. Anyway, he's 23 now. Still no England cap for him. But after the really poor run of form where we lost 3 in a row, We won a game against Forest, then drew 2. Then we lost 4 in a row. Really tough run though. Brighton away, Villa at home, Bournemouth away, and then Chelsea at home. We then have sort of recovered by not losing in 4, including a 3-3 draw with Liverpool. Lucas scored twice against Liverpool, which is really cool. A draw against Spurs as well. We drew in the FA Cup third round. And then, of course, you play Ipswich 3 times in a month. Look, beat them 6-0 in the league, but then did go out to the out of the FA Cup to them on penalties after they scored. I mean, it was 1-1 after normal time because they scored a very late equaliser. We scored in the 118th minute to look like we were going to win it. And then they scored in the 120 plus 3 to take it to pens, which of course they won. Villalobos was the guy that missed the penalty. We kind of got revenge though by beating them 6-0 here. We sit almost safe. 8 wins, 4 draws, 8 losses, 8 goal difference, 28 points. We are I say we're almost safe because we are, what was that, 15 points clear of the third bottom team, which is Brentford. I think I can confidently say we're going to stay up this year. There is a chance that we could finish in the European places. That would be the overachievement that we've made our thing throughout this save so far, but we're 3 points off. I don't think it's going to happen because I think we lose too many games, but who knows? Let's go and find out. It's January now. I'm going to go till about March and then update you, and then we'll go to the end of the season. Okay, here we are in March, 23rd of March. We're very close to the end of the season now, 10 games away. We've got 38 points. I've stopped now because we're pretty much safe. We are 24 points clear of third bottom with only 10 games to go, so 30 points to play for. I think we can start to plan for next year, I think, at this stage, although that 40-point mark is still 2 points away, but I'm pretty confident we're going to get there. The results have been very similar to what they were before. From January onwards, look, we won a game against, look at this. We beat Manchester United 4-0. Lucas Mendy, Salas and Sigurdsson with the goals. And then we went 3 games without a win. Lost to Arsenal, lost to Leicester. So it's kind of punctuating a run of not winning games, which is fine for what we want to do. We beat Fulham, we lost to City, we lost to Forest, and then we beat Brentford most recently. Romeo Beckham got another goal. That is only his second goal as well. I don't need to show you this one, I don't think. That is only his second goal, 5 assists though, but he has done it. He's got a goal in every league so far, which is what we want to see. This all means, though, that I might as well go to the end of the season now and show you where we finish up. And this is where we finish up 12th. It was a fantastic season. We got the 40-point mark. We ended up on 47 points. So very clear of third bottom Brentford, 20 points clear of them, actually. They go down on 27. It's brilliant. It's actually sort of realistic for what I expected. I mean, actually, if you look at how close the points are, if we got 4 points left, we could have finished 16th or 15th, which maybe is a little bit more realistic for what we would have expected. But I also know that we've got good players. They're also good young players that can improve as well. And they sort of showed it this year. We've been given massive money, £54.9 million for next season for finishing 12th in the league. This is now where, if I can also do some sales of some of these players that are now wanted, like Sigurdsson's now wanted by Dortmund, that's the sort of level now that we're attracting. He's valued at 36 million and Dortmund actually want him. So it would be sad to see him go. He got 18 goals in all competitions, so it would be sad to see him go, but potentially there is a chance that we could get really serious money for him. I'll just put Scott Lucas back on the team, by the way. There is actually some incomings that I didn't show you in January as well. 3 of them to show you. Luca Evangelista came in, 6'8" striker. I'm obsessed. I can't help it. It's an addiction. I'm sorry. If there is a striker that is this good, that is this tall, I will sign him, especially for 6 million. So I say I apologise. Actually, I apologise to absolutely nobody. He's great. He's also played a little bit in midfield as well, which is quite useful. He came in. Segovia came in. Another striker, 6'1", but also really quite good. £1.7 million. I know that I'm signing a lot of people, but if they're available and they're cheap, I'm signing them because we can always sell them on for a profit. And the more money we get, the more we can do. Say when we get to season number 10, the more we can kind of go and spend it all to try and get the challenge done of trying to win this league or the Champions League. Maybe we'll win it before then, because end of season 7 now, we're safely a Premier League team. So maybe. Diego Lucas also came in, 6'4" defensive midfielder from Uruguay, £6 million for him. So there were some incomings. We've now got money to go and improve on this squad. 13 goals for Scott Lucas. That takes him to 111 in his career here at Weymouth. 18 goals for Sigporsson. He's actually got 32 and 64 as well. So he's been very good for us. Maybe his last season. We will see. Time to go and spend 50 odd million pounds. Maybe more, because we'll use them in installments, won't we? Let's get ready for season number 8 and our second season in the Prem. Okay, so heading into season number 8, and this season, but this is this is a new thing for me. I've turned a profit in the transfer market. Now, I'm sort of doing that plan that I had, which was to sell players if we got big bids for them. And because we'd signed so many of them, we've got a lot of players, a lot of assets that we could sell. I'm going to start with the sales here because we have made £67 million in sales. It has resulted in us now having £103 million in our balance because we had that decent transfer budget to go and spend. About 40 something million, wasn't it? We've spent 47.5, but we've made 67 million. We have sold, ignore the free transfer of Todd Hunter there. We have sold Luca Evangelista to Lazio, the 6'8" striker. I'm almost sad actually that we didn't get to use him anywhere near like I wanted to. He played a few sub games last year. It was literally, 14 sub appearances, only scored the 1 goal. But because he's 6'8", I kind of wanted to use him a bit more, but maybe he was lacking in some attributes. In the end, we've sold him for silly money, £20 million after signing him for 6. That 20 million also could become 23 million. Lovely profit. Again, as long as we've got a squad that I think is strong enough and we're making money, it's kind of like building up for a big finish where I'm hoping this balance keeps growing. We're doing like a mini Moneyball thing at the moment, which isn't quite Moneyball because we're still using attributes, but we're using a lot of those strategies, aren't we, to maybe try and go big in season 9, maybe even bigger in season 10 when we're going to go for this thing. I've also sold Neto, the Portuguese striker, 6'6" lad. He's gone to Porto, back to his native Portugal for £15 million. Look at the profit off of 9 appearances and no goals, like 0 starts. He came off the bench 9 times. I was excited about him, but in the end, we've got Scott Lucas, who I'm going to play because he's our record ever goal scorer and he's been here from the start. And we've got Sigporsson, who is like his best mate. The two of them together are our strikers. He scored 17 last year. So I'm signing all of these amazing strikers that are really tall and I think will be really good. They're not getting in the team and then I'm selling them for a profit. It's working and I think I'll continue to do that. Fernando Motta went to Santos he went for 13 million, signed for 5, played a few more games than the others. 9 starts for Motta last year. He was a defensive midfielder. I think we started him in the first few games of the season. We've also, this one I'm a bit sad about actually, we've sold half of our Scottish centre-back partnership. Jack Johnston's gone to Rangers for just under £10 million. He played not as many games as I thought he was going to, but he did play loads of games the season before that and the season before that. So 225k to 9 million is the turnaround on him. Dabula, the South African, came in. He's now gone for £5 million, so 10 times the money we spent on him after 17 appearances. Phil Jackson for about £5 million. All in. He was the young English centre-back. And then there's a few that kind of went for not very much money at all, and a loan for Noeke, who we did in the end sign. I think I showed you that we are going to sign him before the tick over, I think. No, I showed you him when he was going on loan to Oxford. He's going to go on loan to Oxford again, that's right. Of course, though, with £67 million in, and I don't think there was any more sales. There's one sale in January I didn't tell you about. That was Regis Mandanda went for £10 million in Jan, and I don't think I showed you him. He was the really tall winger, 6'5" winger. With all of these going out, though, of course, heading into this season, I did have to go and try and strengthen. Now, most of the money, this £47.5 million spent, most of it went on this man, Paul Wynn. Now, Paul Wynn is another striker. He is only 5'9". I don't like these downward arrows, but don't let those fool you because I think he will be an asset for us. He scored a lot of goals for Swansea, look, in the Championship. £22 million we spent on him. I'm hoping that he is an actual... I know that this has happened a lot now, but even if... I know he's signed for a lot of money. We could probably turn a profit on him if we really needed to, couldn't we? But I'm hoping he's actually going to be a proper rotation option for our two main men, Sigporsson and, of course, Scott Lucas. We spent £13.5 million on Stephen Jones, a Welsh winger. He looks great to me. The physicals especially on him. He's a wonder kid, 20, but he's got super high physicals, like he's rapid and he's also got really good dribbling, really good technique, and he's good determination, so he's going to grow and bravery, etc. So hoping that he's going to be a big one for the future. Only 13.5 million. I think his value, his value's over 50 million already, which is quite nice. Janos Achilleos, the most Greek name you could possibly ask for, I think. I'm going to assume he's Cypriot. So, yeah, same language type there, isn't there? We've got him as a left-sided centre-back. He came in for 600k, sorry, 4 million. Jason Strickland for £3.5 million. He looks decent. £2.5 million on Mark Morrison of Scotland. And then Milan Stankovic, 6'6" centre-back. Very cheap. £2 million from Napredak in Serbia. He might actually end up being a starter, I think. There was one other signing, I think, before the tick over. It was Vidal Mikok for £2.5 million, another centre-back. He came from Manchester United. He'll be on the bench or he'll be a squad option. He might actually end up being a starter. I'm not quite sure. But at the moment, this is what I think the squad is going to look like. We've got a game against Bournemouth coming up in our 8th season. We've got our strike force of Lucas and Sigporsson, backed up by the new signing of Paul Wynn that I showed you before. We've got Jones. We've got Stockwell. I probably still will play Beckham. I'm not going to lie to you. I really shouldn't be looking, like, compare his attributes to some of the other players. There's no way he should be playing as many games as he is, but I probably will still end up playing him. But if we don't play him in this game, we might well go with Stockwell, who is really, really good. He can play on both sides as well, Stevie Stockwell. So we will I use the full squad quite a lot anyway. You may have seen that by the appearance stats from each season. We're going to have Salas, who was here last year, Gerson Salas. We're going to have Diego Lucas, who was here last year too. He didn't play loads of games last year, just 8 games. But this year I'm thinking he looks like he's improved quite a lot. He looks solid to me. He may well be a starter, but again, we've got rotation options. And then Stanton, Rooney, Stankovic, Roxo, Stankovic being new, Montero being the goalkeeper from last year too. It's a big squad. How many players in this squad now? It's a 27-player squad, and all of them could play. Like Sammy Sherring down here, if I had to throw him in for a game at 22 and going to grow a little bit, I wouldn't be too upset. He's played for us quite a lot. He played 12 games last year, 10 games off the bench, but that just shows the depth that we've got in the squad now, which is so important. If we can develop these players again, we can try and move up the league table again. Season preview still has us way down the bottom. It hates us, but we know that we're better than this. 2012, I think that's the most I've ever seen it. I swear, I looked like a week ago in game, and it was 1,000 to 1. Maybe the teams around us made some signings, because we're now at 2,000 to 1 for the league. But I know we can do better than that. We finished 12th last year. It's time to build on that. We have even started the season, by the way. We played one game. It was a 3-3 draw with Brighton. Scott Lucas was on the score sheet twice in this one. I'll show you the goals. Why not? We're here. We might as well have a look at them. It was away from home. We went 2-0 up, I think. Lucas with a free kick for the first goal, which was put in by Rooney. That was 1-0. Yeah, we did. We went 2-0 up here with Lucas getting this goal. There's Salas. He's got a nice hairband on as well. Jones across. Lucas prods it in at the near post. That was 2-0. I think they made it 2-1. Yeah, it was straight after. Look, they made it 2-1. It was a mistake. Chukwuemeka putting the ball in the back of the net. I know that you'll love to see that. But that, by the way, is Carney Chukwuemeka. It's not Bright Chukwuemeka, and it's certainly not Caleb Chukwuemeka. If you know, you know. It was Carney, the Chelsea midfielder one, that put the ball in there. I know that a lot of people watching that will be like, which Chukwuemeka was it? I've now lost the goals, apparently, so this is great. After that, though, our boy Scott Lucas made it 3-1. Yeah, 3-1 at this stage. He picks it up here, smashes it in that. Look at that, left-footed in that far corner. He is one of my favourite ever Football Manager heroes. I think I'm saying that. That made it 3-2, and then they scored 2 goals, which I don't think we need to look at now. They actually missed the penalty right at the end to win it. Carboni took it. Carboni actually is someone I looked at signing. I think it was in the PSG video that we did recently. He turns out really well. He's a nice little tip, by the way. Check him out in your saves. He turns out into a great player. But yeah, he missed the penalty at the end, and we got ourselves a draw away from home, which is fine. I'm going to go and play some games now. I might give you an update in October, like we did last season, or I might go to January, depending on how well the season is going. If it's going really well, depending on how I feel, let's go and play some games, and I'll be back with an update. All right, so I am back with an update, and I said I'd either do a few games or go to January. I've sort of done neither. I'm in the middle. It is the 21st of December, and I had to come back and show you at this point because I don't know if it will ever get better. Hopefully it will, because we've got, 2 seasons after this to make it better. But after 16 games, we're 3rd in the league. We're only behind the 2 Manchester teams. Man City on 40 points, Manchester United on 33, and we're there on 32. After 16 games, we've won 10 of them. Even after that 3-3 draw in the first game, this one here against Brighton, we've won 10 of our next 15 games. We did lose 4. Of course, we're going to lose games. And they are against teams that are really tricky to beat. Ignore the West Ham one a little bit, because West Ham are 9th? We've lost to City, Chelsea, and Manchester United. And that tells me that unless we're coming up against the top teams in the league, We are punching well above our weight now. It is possible. It is, I'm feeling like it's possible to go and win this league. Not this year, I'd probably say, because we are already 8 points behind Man City and they are a joke. At this stage, this is what their squad looks like, which I think is quite an interesting and weird one. Like Kyle George, he is a real weird FM striker that sometimes he's amazing in your save and sometimes he's not. He's been about for ages now, hasn't he? They brought him in for 26 million and he doesn't actually look like he always starts for them. Either way, their team doesn't look like your obviously amazing City team, to me anyway. But it's clearly working because they're top of the league. So that's great. We are 8 points behind them. But look at this. Scott Lucas is the Premier League top goal scorer after 16 games. He's got 11 goals. He's also got the best average rating. Stephen Jones got the most assists. And then we've also got Stankovic, who's got the most yellow cards. We do get stuck in, don't we? Scott Lucas, though, here he is. 24. After 16 games, he's got 11 goals. 12 in all comps because he scored 1 in his 2 games in the Cup. It might even be his best ever season that we're on to here. If he can get, 12 more goals in 20 odd more games, I think he can do it. It might be his best ever season. His average rating is the best it's ever been. He's actually got interest from Saudi teams. Al Hilal and Al Ittihad want to sign him. He's on 50k a week. If they offer him super massive wages, I'm a bit scared that he will want to leave. Wolves also want to sign him, but we will not be selling him to Wolves. He doesn't have a release clause or anything. He still has this match highest earner, but I think he deserves it. I'm happy to give him lots of wages because he's our boy, isn't he? Otherwise, though, I'll show you the results actually, just so you can get a full measure of how we've been doing. There are losses in there, like I showed you. There are great wins in there as well. 5-1 against Villa, 5-0 against Ipswich. We love beating Ipswich by loads of goals. 5-1 against Bristol City. They're in the Prem now. Sig Pawson's still scoring goals as well, by the way. He's got 5 in 13, still going pretty strong. You probably want to know about our rotation options up front with Paul Wynn. He has started okay, but he's injured at the moment. He's got a torn calf muscle and is out for ages. When he has played, though, I know it says what? He's got 2 goals in. He's got 1 goal in 3 starts, if you want to put it like that. He looks all right, but again, he is our record signing, so maybe you'd expect a bit better. But he's injured, so that doesn't really help things, does it? The squad looks like this. You want to say as well, Romeo Beckham doesn't have his usual goal yet. He has played 7 games off the bench. He's actually unhappy because he wants to start more games. I don't know what to say to you, Romeo. You're just not that good. So to play games, I'm just not sure you're going to get them here, but I'm going to try and make him happy because I don't want him to leave. And he's out there rocking the number 7 like his dad, which I think is just nice. But yeah, that's my update. We've got money to spend if we want to. We've got £94 million in the bank to go and spend if we want to. I'm not really sure that we need to, but I am thinking about it. The reason we've got 94 million right now is that we did sell a couple of extra ones. It was Dwayne Myers went for £4 million towards the end of the window, and Cristiano Carr has finally left permanently for 250k. He's had a couple of loans. We actually made all of our money back on him. Obviously, we paid wages, etc. But you know what? Portsmouth paid some of those wages anyway. But yeah, 250k. He's going to go play in the Championship now, Cristiano Carr. That, though, gives us options for January. I don't think we'll win the league this year, and which is why I want to save the money, because next year we might be able to start spending big on players that aren't so much new gens that are about to turn into really good players, but maybe already top players that could maybe take us to a league title. That's kind of where my head's at right now, especially if we can finish in the top 4, we can give ourselves Champions League qualification, which will mean our reputation goes up, which means we can attract those better players. It's all about building towards it, but 8 seasons in, we are in contention to finish in those Champions League places. Let's go to the end of the season. I'll show you if I do anything in January, but like I said, I'm not planning on it really, and we'll be close. Hopefully we'll be close. Come on. Okay, here we are. I have gone all the way to the end of the season, and it's a little bit heartbreaking. We finished in the Europa League qualification spots. We finished 5th, which I don't know if at this stage it might give us the opportunity to get that bumped up to Champions League, depending on coefficients and things like that. But for now, we're going to be in the Europa League, and I'm kind of sad because, as I mentioned before, I did want to qualify for the Champions League to try and bring in even more high reputation players. But as it is, I think we can still be very happy with this season. In our Premier League season so far, we finished 12th and now 5th. We finished on 69 points, 20 wins in a Premier League season. Is no joke for a team that we've brought from the Vanarama National League South. 9 draws, 9 losses. Again, look at the list of teams we're losing to, and you can see why we're losing these games. West Ham, Brighton, maybe the only 2 in there that you'd say you wouldn't expect us to lose to. Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man U. Man City, Chelsea, Man U, and then Brighton and West Ham, which I think a couple of those to throw in you'd expect as well. So we're winning games that which we can win. We're drawing games every now and then, usually away from home. I think there's more aways there than there are home draws. And we're losing games, most of the time the games that you'd expect us to lose. The fact that we're doing that and can now build, I feel really good. Scott Lucas, 24 goals. I talked about him getting a record-breaking season. Can you actually believe this? Scott Lucas is the Premier League top goal scorer. He has grown so nicely throughout this save and developed actually more than I would expect of a player, which I think it just goes to show if you just keep playing a player, and like we have built up our training facilities and things like that, but not loads because we are still quite far behind on that. But it just goes to show if you do give them regular game time, they will really grow, even if you think they've reached their max. Because remember, his finishing was, I think it was 10, and I was thinking this is going to be as good as he's going to get. I'm pretty sure his finishing, his pace and acceleration were like 16 and 15. They're both now 16. Like, he's a genuinely good Premier League striker now, and we've brought him all the way from the Vanarama South. Scotty Lucas, legend. Captain, leader, legend, Scott Lucas. He got 24 goals in the league, 28 goals in all competitions. It is his best ever season. That is almost Ballon d'Or winning form. He's obviously not going to win the Ballon d'Or because he hasn't won the big competitions and he's not playing in the top competitions like the Champions League. However, he is winning English awards. Look, he won the English Footballer of the Year this year. First time any Weymouth player has been anywhere near this award. And completely deserved. He got English Players Player of the Year as well. He even got, and then we know about the fact that he got English Premier Division top goal scorer as well. Like, go all the way back and he's making his scored his first senior club goal for Weymouth against Hampton and Richmond in 2023. And now look at him. Look at where we've taken him. It's glorious. Our captain, actually, I can actually send him on a leadership course. I'm going to do that, see if we can get this leadership even higher. He is our captain though. He's not even listed as our key player because there are better players. Stephen Jones is the key player with these physicals. What a man he is, by the way. He got 11 goals, 16 assists this season. He is no joke. For £13 million from Blackburn, thank you very much, Blackburn. He has been quite integral to us getting to where we are as well. The other thing I know you want to know is, did Romeo Beckham get his goal? He didn't. Unfortunately, he only played... I started him twice and then 10 appearances off the bench. He didn't get his usual goal. The streak is over for Romeo, but I still think we can be proud of what he's done. He's 29 now as well. Go on, Romeo Beckham. I'm not going to sell him, though. We'll keep him around. He keeps asking to leave because he wants to play more, but I can't really start him ahead of Stephen Jones, can I? Or even, on the other side, Paddy Grant's come in and played a fair few games. It's not usually Paddy Grant. It's usually our man here, Stevie Stockwell. He's got 19 appearances. Scott Lucas, by the way, here is usually a starter. Paul Wynn, back from his injury, did score 4 goals. Hasn't been his best season because of that injury, but I'm hoping next year he can be a little bit more useful. We will see. That's it though. 5th place. We will find out, I suppose, whether this will turn into Champions League qualification. But again, we're going to go spending. We've got £67 million to go and spend. That is because I talked about not doing business in January. I lied. I went and signed 3 players because they became available and I just couldn't resist it. I signed Ross Leonard from Aberdeen, £12.5 million. He's a winger. He's going to have more value and we're going to sell him on. He played 18 games in the second half of the season, so we did use him. Look, Dean Thomas from £19.5 million, amazing defensive midfielder. He's Welsh and played 10 games in the second half of the season. And then Ben Smith for 500k, a little bit cheaper, but also one that we did kind of use. 3 games for him, and he's going to have a much bigger value from then. We also did sell somebody in January too. It was Winston Kennedy for 1.2 million. We also did sell a whole host in January as well for quite a lot of money. Winston Kennedy for 1.4. Federico Mendy went for £8 million. He went to Sunderland. 14 million rising to 17 million for Villalobos. He went to Wolfsburg. Segovia for 11 million pounds ish went to Torino, and then Shering for about 4 million pounds. All of those did go out in the January as well. So our overall balance is really good, 140 million. They've given us a new budget, which is lower than we had in the bank already, which is annoying. But 67 million pounds to go and play with for season number 9. I reckon we can win it next year. That might be a little bit bold, but 5th to 1st, I've done bigger jumps before. We need to make up 11 points. Chelsea won it in the end. Man U and Man City both fell off a little bit. I think we can do it. So let's go spend some money. Right, at this stage, I'd usually bring you an update on all of the transfers that I've done, ready for our season to begin, right? But today, I need to come in before I've done any transfers in. I need to say goodbye, and you need to join me in saying goodbye to Romeo Beckham. He's left the club. He's gone out on loan. I've sent him to Huddersfield. He was just so unhappy with not playing games that I've decided to let him go. I did try and sell him, if I'm completely honest. He isn't good enough, and I know that I said I'd keep him, but because we've got Scott Lucas as well, I'm going to set him free. Romeo deserves to go and play football, so he's going to the Championship to hopefully play for Huddersfield. The door is still ajar for him to return, I suppose, but we're going to loan him out. And I wanted to make sure that he got the proper respect that he deserves, because in his time here, he's played 267 games for us, 49 goals. We've given a Beckham a career that, well, he doesn't have this in real life, does he? I don't think he's going to make it as a footballer. In this world, though, he does. So we say goodbye to Romeo. Maybe you could leave a little comment down below and just say, put an F in the comments and just say goodbye, Romeo. Or Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Okay, I'm getting carried away. Goodbye to Romeo Beckham. But also, as well as that, I need to show you that I've sold a player for £50 million. So it's not all doom and gloom around here. I have sold Federico Roxo, who did play a fair few games for us, did play pretty much every game last season for us as our right back. He's gone for 50 million to Borussia Dortmund. He is the archetypal example of this buy to sell route strategy that we're putting in place at the moment. He's 23. He's a Portuguese international. He's a really, really good right back, to be very honest with you. But £50 million gives us, as well as these sales, by the way, 11 million for Paddy Grant, 8 million for Joe Johnston, the other Scottish centre-back, by the way. One of them went to Rangers, one went to Celtic, which I think is quite poetic, isn't it? As well as those sales, it gives us a transfer budget of £102 million. And am I going to go and spend £102 million this window? You bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to. In fact, I've already started. Ivan is one that I'm just waiting to confirm. In fact, I think I can confirm it now. Yeah, we are ready to confirm Ivan in for... It's a bid of £26.5 million, but he is sensational. What a centre-back he is going to be. He's left-footed. I know that we've brought in quite a few of these, but this guy, to me, seems like the real deal. He's fast, he's strong, he's massive, he can head the ball, he'll score goals from set pieces as well. He's played in the top division in Spain before this, and he's only 20 years old. Ivan comes in for £26 million. We've also got a man called Bossman, which is a fantastic name. He comes in for £15 million from Chelsea. We've also got Taiguara. Now, this is a massive reason why I was happy to let Romeo Beckham go. Taiguara is a Brazilian under-23 international. And my word, have a look at him and explain to me why this man is able to come to us for £12 million. What a player. What an actual player we've got here. I can just go and confirm that now, which I'm about to go and do. He is sensational. He actually had the season before last, and got 17 goals for them. He's going to go and play probably on this right-hand side. He's actually as well left-footed, and we play inverted wingers. It should be perfect. 18 acceleration and pace, 18 dribbling, 18 first touch, 18 technique, 19 off the ball. This guy is going to make us challengers. Maybe even make us win the league this year. I really strongly believe that. And then the final one for £8.5 million is Washington. He's a right back. He will be the replacement for Roxo, who's gone to Dortmund. Another wonder kid who we're bringing in for £8 million from Brazil. This is why you just do all of your scouting. This is why you go through all of the Brazilian teams like this and you just have a look at who their key players are and their hot prospects. Literally just scroll through them like this until you see, right, Renato is their key player. He's a new gen. He's probably quite good. He would cost us £8 million and he's quite good. He's obviously, I've not bought him because he's not as good as the other ones, but this is just how you find them. I just do this with basically every team until you find the place. Look at this guy, £4 million could easily be a striker. Say you're a championship team, that could be your striker, couldn't it? And he just plays for CRB, whoever they are. Cruzeiro have a key player called Cesario, not as good, but just wanted to kind of talk you through my methods for finding these players. I am going to now go and confirm these deals because the money is being spent, and this probably won't be the end of it. It's the 10th of July. We've got a lot of the window left to go and do. I'm going to keep being busy, try and spend this transfer budget that we've got here. I think with all of that done, that is £80 million out, which gives us still money left over to go and spend a massive wage budget if we want to. I'm building. Let's go and finish off the window and start our season, and I'll be back with an update. In fact, let me get these players in so I can show you once they have confirmed in. We are predicted to finish 15th. Now, remember, we were predicted to finish 20th and finished 5th. So 15th tells me we're going to win the league. I reckon. That's what I'm going to try and do anyway. Let's go and get started. I can just feel it in my waters. This is going to be the season. Come on. Okay, welcome back in October of this 9th season then. And I will greet you with this beautiful, beautiful sight. And it's Weymouth top of the Premier League. Just to finish it now. End it now, Premier League. Just, let there be some type of massive pandemic and you end the season early and we win the league, because after 7 games, I don't actually wish for that to happen, by the way. After 7 games, we have won all 7 because we've had quite an easy start. I use those words lightly, but we've got ourselves a gap to the other teams that might be our competition this year already after only 7 games. We've played Leicester, Palace, Chelsea, which is the one really big win that we've had, Bristol City away, Wolves at home, Leeds away, and then Brighton at home. Our home games we're smashing. There's a 5-1 win against Brighton in there. There's a 4-2 win against Chelsea, 4-1 against Leicester. We're scoring a whole host of goals, but the other teams around us, Arsenal have dropped points in 3 games out of 7. Chelsea have dropped points in 3 games out of 7. It's Chelsea who won the league last year, remember, as well. It's been an amazing start. I mean, Taiguara, who we brought in to replace Romeo Beckham, has got an 8.1 average rating in his first 7 games at the club. This man should know he shouldn't be at Weymouth, but we've managed to pull off a bit of a worldie to bring him in. He's only 22 and look how good he is. Honestly, we are at a point now where I think we are genuine title contenders. I almost to the stage where I'd be disappointed if we don't win it this year. I think we're ahead of schedule still, especially when you consider the fact that if I go to the team detailed stats and go to salary per annum, we've still got the lowest wage in the entire league, £58.26 million. Everton have got 61.7. City have got £357 million. We're paying the lowest wages, but we have unbelievable players like Taiguara who can just make anything happen, and he's even better than Romeo Beckham. It's great. We have got a few things going down for us, though, which might hold us back a little bit. We have had injuries. At the moment, we've got an injury to George Stanton at left back. Taiguara himself is injured for 3 to 4 weeks. Aparicio has also gone down with an injury. I need to tell you about him. He is a new Uruguayan backup striker that we've brought in for quite cheap, actually. This was after our business had been done. £3 million from Penarol. Amazing finishing at 18. If he picks up a bit of speed to go with this height as well, I know we've signed so many backup strikers, but what a striker he could be. Scott Lucas has got 4 in 9. Sig Pawson's got 3 in 6. We're doing amazing, but it could be injuries that hold us back a little bit. We did also, huge news, the coefficient did play in our favour, and we are now a Champions League team. It actually did happen. I did wonder if it was going to, because we finished 5th. We are in the Champions League and we've made a perfect start so far. 2 games, 2 wins. We've beaten Sevilla in our first ever Champions League game. We've beaten Panathinaikos 5-0 in our second ever Champions League game. So it's all pretty rosy at the moment. The budget, I mean, the overall balance is £147 million. We've still got 36 million spent if we want to. We have also, this is what I need to show you, we've also rejected a massive bid for our star man. £74 million this bid came to eventually. I am never selling this man, even if he is upset at the moment because I fined him for violent conduct against Panathinaikos. He will be here forever. I know that Romeo Beckham, I kind of said the same thing, but that's one thing. Selling Scott Lucas would be a completely different thing, wouldn't it? We're looking good. I mean, it's a perfect start to the season so far. Harder games to come. We've got a run here, look, to show you. If we don't drop some points here, I would be very shocked. We've got Liverpool, Real Madrid, Villa away, City, and then Arsenal, and then Monaco. I mean, even after that, look, United, Spurs, Newcastle as a run of 3. We have been fortunate that the first games of the season have been quite kind to us, but it might even provide the platform that means we can go and challenge for the title this year. I am going to go for it. That's where I'm at with it. I'm going to go for it. I think we've got an amazing team of really, really good players. Even now, the season preview has improved. We're up to 10th best team in the league. That tells me, with a human manager in charge who knows what they're doing, give myself a bit of credit there. I think you can always challenge from this type of prediction. And that's what we have to do this year. Let's go and do that challenge. Oh, and one last thing. We are now in our new stadium. The Weymouth Stadium is complete. 18,000 seats. Completed this year. We are playing in it. We're a legend. Scott Lucas is still only an icon, which I don't really understand. He's got 289 appearances, 139 goals. I don't know who the record ever appearance is. It's really... I wish they would improve this, by the way. Do you have the same gripe as me? Like, this could be so much better. I love to go and look at all the stats and all the data behind players, but I just wish this was a bit better. Scott Lucas has got the most goals, league goals in our history. Who's got the most appearances just overall? How do you even know that? If you go to all players, like, these are all season by season. I want to know overall records, but it's always really difficult to actually go and find that, isn't it? I mean, most league appearances by a player is 423, but I want, like, overall appearances if possible. I know that Scott Lucas hasn't got that. He's got 289, but I mean, maybe if we were to continue, he'd probably break it, wouldn't he? But yeah, I wish these were better, basically. Scott Lucas, though, I would call him a legend, even though he's technically only an icon. But yeah, let's go play some more games and hope that this amazing start to the season continues. Okay, so I've played through until January. It's towards the end of the January window. There's a little bit more business that I might end up doing, but I wanted to stop and come back to you here because that gap that we talked about from our favourable start to the season, that gap's now disappeared. We're only leading the league by 1 point to Arsenal. Chelsea are right there as well, 3 points behind. They have played an extra game, actually. Spurs are in fourth. They're 5 points behind us. So, I mean, it was a pretty big gap after 7 games, wasn't it? It's now disappeared. Maybe you'd expect that to happen. I told you about that run of fixtures that we had. We did okay in them. This is the results after that start to the season. So from like October onwards here, we're looking at, we lost to West Ham. Champions League phase, by the way. We smashed it. 7 games, 6 wins, 1 loss in there. We are going to go through to not the playoffs, but the round after that, basically. We then played this run of games here against Liverpool, Real Madrid, Villa, City, Arsenal. We lost to Liverpool, beat Real Madrid. I mean, Weymouth, we've beaten Real Madrid. That I get. There's little moments and things that show the progress that we've made here, and beating Real Madrid feels like a significant one, doesn't it? And lost to Villa straight after that Champions League. That is one thing that we're having to contend with, playing midweek in the Champions League and then in the league. And maybe that's where some of these injuries are coming from, which is why I've tried to go fairly big in the January window as well. Transfers are what will take us to that next level. We've used them so well so far. Players like Paul Winge, remember we brought him in as the backup. He scored a hat-trick in this game against Forest. So we're going to try and keep using that as our way home here. Trying to win the league this year, maybe trying to win the league next year. We lost to Villa. We beat Manchester City, which is wild. Then we lost to Arsenal. So we are dropping some points. We also lost to Newcastle. I talked about this run of games too. United we beat, Spurs we beat, lost to Newcastle. Then went out of the FA Cup. Then lost our most recent Champions League game. It's our 1 loss so far in this league phase, but it doesn't really matter. This is our run in. And we've also got a Champions League knockouts run to try and contend with. Wouldn't it be something if out of nowhere we could go and win the Champions League now instead? That'd be quite cool. But we are in a title race. We are 1 point clear at the top. I'm going to go till about March or something now. Let's jump forward. And if we end up in a title race, we will do them as live comms, because this could be the end of the video if we can do what was supposed to be impossible. Let's go do some more games. Oh, I need to show you the transfers. Let's not do some more games. Let me show you who I've brought in so far in January, because I've spent pretty big. I've spent £27.5 million on this man, Sean Forbes. He was an Englishman playing in Saudi. He went there for 28 million, played 2 seasons, not played that much. We've brought him back. He's got 3 goals in his first 2 games. He might be the difference, especially when you consider the injuries. We brought in a left back called Jesus. Hopefully he's our Lord and Saviour. Robbie Robinson, fantastic name. Didn't just buy him alone for the name. He also is really, really, really good. 20 years old. How many of these strikers are there in this world that I can go and sign, by the way? He is so good. He's gone back on loan for this season because we don't need him this year, but in the future we might well use him, because look at the state of him. Look at the physicals and the finishing on him. And he's called Robbie Robinson. His parents have literally called him, not even Robert. Like, his parents have sat down and gone, surname Robinson, what should we call him? They've gone, Robbie? Yeah, fair enough. That's it. Not even a middle name. Anyway, Robbie Robinson is a promising striker. We're going to use him. I've also sold some people in Jan. They are Ben Deacon, 4.6 mil. Stevie Stockwell, great servant for us, by the way, for 4 seasons now. He has gone for £14 million. Massive profits on him. Jason Strickland, another great servant for us. £19.5 million for him. Just 2 seasons, but really good 2 seasons. He was our left back, replaced now by Jesus. And then also there's that Robbie Robinson loan from before. How's Romeo doing, actually? We need to check in on him. He's played 1 game. Right. This is where now we probably find out about his true level, because I'm not even sure he's championship level. And we've sent him on loan there and he's not even... Bring him back. I might bring him back. I'm thinking about it. Anyway, there are a few that I might sell and bring in too. We are potentially seeing Janos Achilleos, Ryan Rooney and Mark Morrison on their way out, mainly on loan, so there is a bid in for Ryan Rooney. And then potentially some incomings too, but at the moment I'm not working on anything. There's about 6 days to go in the window. Again, okay, like I said before, let's go play some games. All right, would you look at this? We have just knocked out Bayern Munich in the Champions League. We did not play well in our home leg. We lost 1-0, but we'd already won at Bayern Munich. We've knocked them out on penalties. The winning penalty from Meacock, we actually only... I mean, Lucas also scored his... we missed one with Salah there. We've won on a penalty shootout. Bayern Munich with this team, and a lot of these are new gens that are outrageous, like their striker Maya. They're a very good team. We've just knocked them out of the Champions League. We're into the quarter-final of the Champions League where we will play Atletico Madrid. Little old Weymouth are on a Champions League tear. I'm saying it now. I actually feel like if we don't do it this season, I'm going to be really upset because we should. From where we are... Now into March, end of March as well, we are 5 points clear at the top. We've only lost 6 games, drawn 1. So 7 games where we dropped points. One of them was the last game that we've just played, which makes me a bit worried. Arsenal in second. We should do it. We've got a 5-point lead and we're in a Champions League quarter-final. One of these competitions with this team of players could potentially take us to the promised land. I'm just going to show you as well. Scott Lucas does usually start. He's got 9 goals in there. Taiguara, this is the team that I played in the last game, I think, rather than the team that is the best team necessarily. But Taiguara in there, Jesus, Ivan in there. Look, these are our main players. Taiguara's got 17 goals from right midfield. Scott Lucas has got 9, 13 goals from our centre-back, Ivan. The 6'5", he's a beast. He's a beast of a defender. We've got a really good team. These new gens now, this isn't they might get better and become really good. They are already superb, that should be potentially challenging at the top of the Premier League. What's actually saying that? Now that we brought those extra players in Jan, where are we predicted to finish? Still 10th. I think we can do it this year. 5 points clear. These have been the results recently. Did lose that second leg. Did just lose to Liverpool as well. But 5 points clear with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games to go. If we don't win it, it will be an almighty bottle job. I'm going to go play a few more games, and then there's potentially a title-winning live com run-in that we can get going with here. Here we go. Okay. Just played against Manchester City. I've actually played a game after this as well. On the 10th of April, we've just dropped more points. But I'm not saying we're bottling it yet. We're 4 points clear. There's 5 games to go now, but we've got a really tough run-in. We've just played Man City and lost. We have to play Arsenal, then we have to go and play Manchester United, and then Spurs, and then even Newcastle isn't easy. Our run-in is really tough, but this has to be it here. Also, alongside that, we've just knocked out Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. A goal from Stephen Jones. He is brilliant, by the way. Love him to bits. He has been so important for us in the 2 seasons he's been here. He has just scored a goal at home against Atletico Madrid. We are into the semi-finals where we've got Spurs. If there is ever a chance to win a Champions League, it might be now. If we beat Spurs over 2 legs, we're in a final against Inter Milan, Blueberry, or Real Madrid. We are also 4 points clear of our nearest rivals, Arsenal, in the league. We play them next. So I'm going to go play that game now, and I am dreading it, honestly. I think I'm bottling it. Look what we've just done against Arsenal. I need to show you the goals. We were 2-0 up against Arsenal. We were 2-0 up against Arsenal, and we've conspired to lose the game. Look at this for a start of the game. In our new stadium, by the way, which you haven't seen yet. It looks beautiful. Lucas puts us 1-0 up. The keeper doesn't even move for it. That's after 10 minutes. We then go 2-0 up before half-time. Sig Pawson, one of our big heroes in this save, makes it 2-0. And then second half, horrible set-piece goal, corner goal from Arsenal. Of course, Arsenal scoring corners, or from corners. Then we do this, giving it away twice. Richie, he's actually a real player at this stage of a save, makes it 2-2, and then they win it with 7 minutes to go. It's really rubbish defending. Miles Lewis-Skelly tackled into Fernandez. we've just blown it. And we've actually played 2 games since this and won them both. So we blew that game against Arsenal. We've beaten Birmingham and we've won our first leg of the Spurs semi-final in the Champions League. There's a massive chance of a Champions League final here, but the Premier League, we're only 1 point clear with 3 games to go. We were 5 points clear with like 7 games to go, but we've lost. I mean, the teams we've lost to are Arsenal and Man City and Liverpool. It's not like we've now got to go and get results against Manchester United, who are 5th, Spurs, who we've just played in the Champions League and beaten, by the way, they're 7th, and Newcastle, who are 12th. This really should be it, because we've got the ultimate chance to either win a Champions League final or the Premier League title. Come on. It's over. I've actually bottled it. After after everything we've done in this save, I've just done this against Manchester United. I'll show you the goals. We've lost 3-2. They went into a 2-0 lead in the first leg. I mean, in the first half, they didn't even play that well. They've scored a penalty early on in the first 10 minutes. At this stage, I'm like, don't panic, because we are a better team than Manchester United. They then score again for 2-0, and then I am panicking. I won't lie to you. It's a horrible goal as well. We just look way too deep. The keeper's out complaining. We get a goal back from a set piece, eventually coming to Forbes here, eventually then to Jones, who drills it, deflected, I think, into the back of the net. Then they make it 3-1, and I think we score an own goal after this as well. Karim Konate still going strong, scoring 3-1. Manchester United beat us at our stadium. Yeah, I think it's an own goal from here, isn't it? Eventually. Win the backup striker there. Look, Jones crosses it. Yeah, bounces in off Hamdi. We've lost to United. I think this might be it. Although, there is some good things. But before we look at that, we're still 1 point clear of Arsenal. Arsenal have actually dropped points in their last game against Liverpool. They've got Villa and City. So it could still, I mean, that's really tough. It still could go our way. But I'm actually dreading it now, because we've got Newcastle and Spurs, or Spurs and Newcastle that way around. And because of our form being patchy at best, I'm just actually worried about it. Even though a Scott Lucas hat-trick has just fired us to a Champions League final. We were already up from the first leg, and then Scott Lucas has just done this. We are going to play Real Madrid in a Champions League final. We're also, with 2 games to go, 1 point clear at the top of the league against Arsenal. If we don't do it this season, this might be our best ever chance. Look at that near post finish from Scott Lucas. Tottenham come into the Weymouth Stadium on a Champions League semi-final night, and us just brushing them aside 3-0 with our striker that's played for us since the Vanarama South scoring a hat-trick. I love Football Manager, man. Yeah, like, it is so silly. There he is putting his hat-trick in there. It is so silly, but it's so good, and I'm so stressed at the moment. I don't know if you could tell. We've got a Champions League final coming up, but we need to go and play these games against Real Madrid and Newcastle. Let's go. Let's go and get these games done and find out what our fate is. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I've bottled it. I actually recorded all of these as live comms as well, but it would have made the video so long. I'm just going to show you the results. We've lost it all. I actually can't believe I'm saying this after everything in this video. Do you know when I was like, oh, it'll get hard eventually? It just got hard now. It felt like we were in quicksand. I couldn't, whatever I did, maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I was overthinking it, but I drew to Spurs 2-2 after being 2-0 down and then taking it back for a draw. By the way, Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. scored in that game. He is in the database. It's an updated database. He scored a goal. It's ridiculous. So we've drawn that game, and that was kind of enough. I knew it was kind of over them because Arsenal did win their game. They played, who did they have second to last? They had Villa. They beat Villa 2-1. They even then went and won their last game. And by that point, I sort of knew it was over because we had Newcastle at home. Even if we won this game, if Arsenal won, we weren't going to win the league. We drew 1-1. It was even a late, I mean, Esteval scored on the 83rd minute. Sigurdsson scored after 85. We finished our Premier League season second. 81 points we've got as well. I'm like, should I finish the video here? Genuinely, I'm like, is this as close as we're going to, is this the natural ending of a video? I like to be completely honest and be like, if we failed, we failed. But I did say 10 seasons. We do technically have one more season to go, which is why I'm going to go and play that season, especially because we lost to Real Madrid 1-0 in the 89th minute after I mean, after a rubbish final, after being in the game, though, against Real Madrid, was this goal from Samuele Vignato, playing up front with Kylian Mbappe, by the way. Weymouth have just lost 1-0 to Real Madrid in the Champions League final. It's actually a really poor goal, isn't it? The keeper's not great for it. We go again? One more season? And if we fail this next season, we fail, but... Okay. We've got 81 million to go and spend. We've got an amazing squad. We've got amazing players. We've got Scott Lucas getting 13 goals, Sig Paulson getting 18, 18 from Taiguara. We've got a really good squad. Let's go one more season. I feel like we owe it. I owe it to you and I owe it to myself to try and win something here. That was the plan, 10 seasons. Let's go all or nothing, final season, regardless of what happens. Let's do it. Okay, we're doing this. I've calmed down, I've had a cup of tea, and I'm ready to make this the season. And to do so, here's a transfer bonanza that I've been on. I have spent £89 million on 6 players that I genuinely think take us up another level, which is wild considering how good we were. We've also got ourselves £322 million in through the door. I'm not sure that this was necessary to do right now, because if I'm giving myself one season to win the league, I probably should have just kept the players. But I don't think, like, there was a part of me as an FM player that can't say no to a bid of £185 million for a player. So Stephen Jones, who I kind of waxed lyrical about last season, or in the last part of the video, has gone to Manchester United for £200 million. I think we've already replaced him with a really good player. I think we already had a really good replacement for him anyway, but that is outrageous money. It does make our balance now 410 million. Just think about all of those financial problems we had right at the back, at the start of the save in part 1 of this mini series that it's become. And it looks like it's going to stay up there as well. It's really cool to see. Although I am sort of like, why did I bother selling him? Why didn't I just use him for this year? Either way, he's gone. Dean Thomas has also gone for 70 million. He's gone to Chelsea. He had 2 seasons with us and we've turned a big profit on him. It was 65 rising to 70. And then 43 million for Francisco Montero, our goalkeeper, to go to Al Nassr. Now, with the keeper, I was actually a bit worried about this one, but I replaced him beautifully, I think, with Sebastian Cesbron, who is he's a French keeper who looks really, really, really good. I usually look for reflexes, by the way. If I'm looking for a keeper, I look for aerial reach because I just think it's really important. And then reflexes as the main attributes. Obviously, you look for all the other things like concentration, etc., etc. But my general thing that I seem to have spotted is that if a keeper has really good reflexes, they seem to perform well in the engine. So he's got 18 reflexes. So I have high hopes, as well as being 6'5" with okay aerial reach, but okay jumping reach. It's a bit of a shame it's only 13 considering he is as tall as he is, but I've got high hopes he's going to be really good. Cesbron comes in to replace Montero. I also sold Stankovic, Rooney, Ben Smith, Morrison, and David Trapp went on a free. I've brought in as well then. We do this by how much I spent on them. Let's go to Charlie Spearing next, who is a new centre-back. Look at the state of him. Look at these mentals. 24-year-old English centre-back, 2 caps for England, was playing for Bournemouth. I don't know why they've sold him to... I guess because they weren't playing him. Didn't play loads, but I don't know why he wasn't playing loads. He looks really good, if you ask me. Charlie Spearing. Dante Kachunko comes in as a new right-back. I don't think he's going to play all that much because we have Washington, who is so good. But I'll show you Washington's profile in a second. I'll go through the 11 because I feel like, because it is the final saloon, the last saloon to go and win everything this year, you want to know the characters that are taking part. Washington at right back looks really good. Matteo Gomez as another backup, but £7 million for this guy. Outrageously, like 18 finishing, 17 acceleration and pace. So good, Matteo Gomez. Vilhena, who I think actually might be a starter, despite only being £6 million. I think as one of our DMs, I reckon he is so well-rounded, doesn't really have a gap in his game, and he can pass the ball for England, or for Brazil, actually. 17 passing, 15 vision, 16 technique, and he can tackle. Really like the look of João Vilhena in from Palmeiras. And then finally, Shinji Watanabe, 5 million. Now, you might be thinking, oh, he's at the bottom of the list. He'll be the least important. Look at this guy for 5 mil. Another one, Natural Segundo Volante. And of course, we use a Segundo Volante. He's 25. He's got loads of caps for Japan. He's going to be our Segundo Volante. I think he's going to be our starter. He's got great pace. He's just He's just good, isn't he? And that makes up our team that looks like this. Sesbron, the new keeper. Washington, this is why I wanted to point him out. As a right back, you don't get much better, do you? Brazilian international. We brought him in for 8 million from Bahia in Brazil. He's going to be our right back. Left back is Jesus. Ivan and Charlie Spearing. Charlie Spearing, who's new this year. Watanabe and Vilhena, 2 new central midfielders. Taiguara, who was the star of the show last year, in all honesty, as well as Mateo Gomez, who is also new, and then the strike force of Sig Pawson and Scotty Lucas up front. Of course, if we do want to change these, we have Forbes, who played a lot of games and scored goals last year, as well as Paul Wynn, who has also been a backup striker for a while now. I think we are as set as we could possibly be. Season preview says that we are predicted to finish 7th. That's a title challenger in my book. And I mean, even if you look at the Dream 11, Gomez, Watanabe and Washington all get into the Dream 11. We've got players at the top level, and we're going to go and fly through this because we're going to win it. We have to win it. So I'll see you in, let's fly through it. Let's actually go to January, because if things have gone terribly wrong, we might as well get it over and done with. I'll see you in Jan. Okay, we're approaching January. It's the 30th of December, and so far, so good. Can you see how hyped I am by this now? This has to be it. If we don't do it this year, I think I might have a little moment. I might go and sit down and just ponder the bottle job that was the end of last season. And actually, if I don't do it this season, I give you all full permission to put little bottle emojis as comments on the video. Not just for engagement, but because I deserve it. All right? Because I did bottle it last year. We're not doing it this year, though. After 15 games, we've only lost 4. It was against Wolves, City, United, and Southampton. We lost to Southampton. That is rubbish, isn't it? But 5 points clear at the top of the league. Ahead of Chelsea. It's been a really good start to the season. Good performances from the players that we wanted to have good performances out of. A couple of injuries at the moment. We've got 2 weeks there. I think it's only a short one. Yeah, 2 weeks there as well. 2 twisted ankles, I think. But solid performances all around. If you have a look at the average ratings, that's kind of the giveaway whether they're going to be good. Scott Lucas, by the way, I rejected more bids from Saudi teams in the summer, and he's got loads of interest from Saudi teams now. Overall, though, everything is going to plan. We've got 11 goals from Forbes, 11 from Lucas. We've also got, he's actually become the starter over Sig Pawson for this year, by the way. Oh, and also something I need to show you. Romeo is back. He is actually at the club. I did try and shift him on, but no one wants him. So he is technically at the club. He's in our under 21s. But if we are looking like we might win this title, I think I will try and do my best to try and get him on the pitch. Just as a heads up. Halfway through the season, these have been our results. Champions League is going okay. We have actually lost a couple of games there. We lost to Atletico and to PSG. But we are in this top bracket at the moment, 6 games in. Should go straight through to the past the playoff round. And league, we're 5 points clear. In the the Carabao Cup, we have already gone out to Liverpool, so no distractions there. FA Cup starts against Bristol City. I'm flying through it because we're getting it done. Champions League or the Premier League, one of them is coming home today. Let's continue. Okay, we are into April now, and finally, I feel like I've been playing this safe because I have been playing this safe for weeks now, days upon end of actually just sitting here waiting to record the next bit. We're close. There are 4 games to play in the Premier League. We have Aston Villa, Wolves, Arsenal, our nemesis from last year, and Norwich to play. Arsenal away is my one problem, but we're 5 points clear of Chelsea at the top. We are so close. If we win our next game, there'll be 9 points to play for, and we will still potentially have a 5-point lead at the top. We are as close as we can come to be, I think, and it's all going very, very well. I wanted to stop here and just do the calm before what could potentially be the storm. We also have a chance to make another Champions League final. And basically, we have made another Champions League final. We've won a first leg at home to Bayern Munich to put us in the position to get to a Champions League final. We just need to avoid losing 5-0 in the second leg, or 4-0 in penalties, I suppose you could also go for. The team is performing beautifully. Scotty Lucas, our hero, has scored 10 goals this season. The rest of the team is just fantastic. I'll show you the stats on here. Look, 20 goals from Forbes. He's become first choice over Sig Pawson. Romeo Beckham has played a game. I've got him back into the squad because he's here for the victory lap is what I'm hoping for. He's played a game off the bench, so he has played in every season so far in the save. I suppose except for this Huddersfield loan here, which, I guess that doesn't really count. But he has to be here if we're going to win it. I think now all that remains is to go and try and win it. I'm going to go and play these last games. Maybe we'll do the last... We'll see if it goes to the last day. I kind of want to play some of it together to go through the moments together at the end. But let's go and see. Let's go maybe till the final day, or maybe we'll finish the league and play the Champions League final together if we get there. Either way, this is it. It comes down to this. Let's go and finish this story in the most positive way. Okay. It is the last day of the season. We should win the league. But we've actually... I can't actually believe this. We've given Chelsea a chance. We have drawn to Wolves. We have lost to Arsenal. Now, losing to Arsenal away from home, expected. Drawing to Wolves away from home, we should probably have been winning this one. The league table, I can't believe I'm showing you this, looks like this. Going into the final day, we have got Norwich at home to confirm us as Premier League champions, to complete the challenge of taking Weymouth to the top in 10 seasons. In our 10th season, all we have to do is avoid defeat. And all we have to do actually is, I mean, it's almost done because goal difference wise, we are better. We have to, Chelsea can win 9-0 to get it confirmed. We're basically done, but there is the tiny, tiny, tiny amount of chance that Chelsea could still win it on the last day. Either way, I wanted to do it with you guys because I want to share this moment, which should be our crowning moment of winning the Premier League. We then also, could you write it, by the way? We then have Arsenal, who we bottled it to last year, in the Champions League final. We're going to do 2 live comms to finish off this epic, and it feels like it has been an epic. I've done it in 2 parts. I almost feel like I should have done 3 parts now because of how long this second part's going. But do you know what? You guys seem to like the long form content, so we're going to do it anyway. Let's pick a team for Norwich, which is going to be this one, despite... We've got a few issues. I couldn't not play Scott Lucas, even though he's quite knackered. I really just hope he doesn't get an injury. But if we're going to lift the trophy at the end of this, which we should actually get the trophy lift because it's at home, Scott Lucas has to lift that trophy, doesn't he? And guess what? I'm going to do it. Romeo Beckham comes in. He starts our final game of our final league game of the entire series. He hasn't played much this year, but he's back in the team for this one. We're going to go for it. Let's get ourselves into this game. Norwich at home. Even if we lose, we should still win the title. And I'm just hoping that Scott Lucas doesn't get injured and miss the Champions League final, because that would be upsetting. We have to go and get redemption in that competition too. We're not underway. We're ready to go here against Norwich. Go and win the league title, lads. Please. Okay, first highlight of the game. We've got Washington, our right back, taking it. Lucas Stanton. Oh, he smashed it over. I'd love it if Lucas could get a goal in this game. It would feel right, I think. Washington with the corner. In towards, it's headed away. Ivan's there. I think they got Lucas back in. Yeah, they're going to clear it. It's all good. Okay, first 10 minutes, not a lot going on. We need to have a look at the Chelsea game. Chelsea are drawing at the moment to Newcastle, which keeps us 3 points clear at the top. If they don't win, they have no chance. They need to win like 9-0. Or maybe like 6-0 and we lose 3-0. It can happen, but it really shouldn't happen. We've also got a free kick here. Washington's good at these. That wasn't as good. He's smashed it over the bar. But we will keep an eye on their results. Still 0-0 at the moment. That's fine. 2 4-4-2s coming up against each other in this one. So I actually need to do some shouting. Let's encourage them. Washington. Lucas. Oh, Washington. I really want Lucas to score. Can you tell? Washington wins it back. Beckham. I'd love Romeo Beckham to get a goal, by the way. Gomez smashes it over. Imagine that, actually. That might be the better scenes if Romeo Beckham gets himself a goal here. He's lost his number 7 shirt, by the way. It was replaced. We gave it to who did we give it to? He's injured in this game. Taiguara, who didn't start because he's a little bit injured / tired. He's taken his number 7 shirt. Washington into Beckham. Into Washington. A lovely run. He's had it nicked off him. The highlight will continue. This feels goal. This feels like a goal. This feels goal, I said. Watanabe. Washington. All the way back. Long highlight. This feels goal. Charlie Spearing. Gomez. I told you it feels goal. We're 1-0 up. It's Matteo Gomez, our left midfielder, smashes it in. That can become a new little catchphrase of mine. This feels goal. In at half time, we are leading. Chelsea are also winning, but at this stage, it does not matter because we are going to do the business ourselves. Let's get straight through to the second half because we've got another game to go and play after this one. A Champions League final, no less. But I just want to see that trophy lift. After all this time, I just want to see that trophy lift. Here is Norwich playing about with it at the back. Does this feel goal? Let me know. It does. This feels goal. He's going to finish it. No, he's not. He's not. It didn't feel goal enough. Gomez with the chance, though. A mistake at the back from them. Chelsea are 5-0 up. I swear it was just 2-0 when we looked at them. They've put a lot of goals in very, very quickly. Maybe even at the start of the second half. We'll check in on that. When did they score those goals? 43, 45, 47. Yeah, 3 in 4 minutes. Although they did have added time in the middle of that, didn't they? Spurs are beating Arsenal as well. It's good, actually. If Arsenal go into the Champions League final with a little bit of negativity in the camp, that wouldn't be too bad, would it? Right, we've got a very tired Scott Lucas, but I can't take him off. Maybe I should have started him as a sub and brought him on. And I worry that he wouldn't lift the trophy. I'm going to have to keep him on, even if it is kind of detrimental to our Champions League final. This is not what a sensible manager should do. Maybe I should give him some instructions to just not run or something anymore. Play him as a left back or something. 6-0 Chelsea. They're actually going for that 9-0. If we drop points, if Norwich come back into it, could this actually... Are they going for it? I'm a bit worried now. No, we're winning. I shouldn't be worried, should I? Let's get a second goal, though, just to make it sure. This is a long highlight. This does feel goal. It feels very goal because they've won the ball back and lost it again. And for a third time. Are we on full highlights? Doyle. Lovely green headband. We were very zoomed in there, weren't we? I was also really close to the monitor for some reason. We've won it back. Stanton, this feels goal. Beckham, Sigporsson, Gomez for a second. It is. It is 2-0. And have that, Chelsea. I don't care if you win 9-0. You're not winning the league title. It's not happening. We're marching on. We've had all the shots in this game. They haven't had a single shot. I will wait for this highlight to finish, and then don't you dare give a penalty for that. He didn't. Thank you. Thank you, linesman/referee. Xavi. That's Xavi Simons. Or is it a new gen Xavi? It might be a new gen Xavi, to be honest. I want the highlight. That can't be. I was going to say that's Patrick Van Aanholt. I assume that's a new gen as well, because that would be silly. We've got the ball here after a long highlight. Sigporsson. I don't want to say the magic words, but this feels quite goal. Gomez. It's not. I was wrong. Watanabe with the shot out and tipped wide. 7-0 Chelsea. They actually are going for it. Who do I take off or who do I bring on? Do I give a chance for... Let's bring Bossman on because he's got a fantastic name for... Let's bring him on for Dafter. In fact, who do I want to rest for the final? Washington probably. We'll bring on Kachunko there. Win's been great, but I kind of want to keep Sigporsson and Lucas on. I'm thinking of the moment. Who needs to be on for the moment when we lift the trophy? I think the rest of those lads I want to keep on. Washington and Dafter I don't feel as strongly about. Bossman's going to score a free kick now, is he? Go on, Bossman. Good effort. Not too bad. Good save. I can't believe Chelsea have actually gone for the 9-0, by the way. That would be the worst bottle job ever, I think. If Norwich win this game now, come back and we lose 3-2 and Chelsea win 9-0, can you actually imagine? Their goal difference is still 4 behind, but if we concede 3, it would actually be a 1 goal difference. That would actually... There's 13 minutes to play. I'm not saying I'm worried, but there is a seed of doubt. Chelsea are 7-0 up. Shall I time waste? I'm going to time waste. That feels a bit... They've not had a shot yet, so thinking they're going to score 3 in 6 minutes might be overthinking it slightly. Oh, God, they've got a highlight. Oh, God, they've scored. Yusuf Chamiti has scored. Right, we need VAR to do us a favour here before I don't think you guys will be panicking as much as I am watching this, would be my theory. They've got the goal. The goal difference is only 3, right? Is that going to change? Okay, it's fine. Don't worry about it. The goal difference is 3, but the points difference is 3. We've won the game. 2-1 win. Didn't even get a trophy lift. They didn't even get a trophy lift. The VAR's still saying goal over here, though. I didn't want to see a trophy lift anyway, honestly, Football Manager. It's not sort of why I play the entire game. I'm upset. Let Weymouth lift the Premier Division on the final day, but do we? Because I'm not seeing it, honestly. See you at the Champions League final. All right then, despite the disappointment of not actually seeing the team lift the trophy, we are champions, and this is Champions League final day. Now maybe we can get it right. We can see a trophy lift by winning the Champions League. We might not win the Champions League because it's Arsenal and they are our nemesis, but we've done what we needed to do. Mission accomplished. We've won the Premier League in the 10 seasons, which feels great. I'd love to finish it off with a Champions League win. I honestly, mainly so that we could see the trophy lift. This is going to be the team. Sesbron, Washington, Spearing, Ivan, Jesus. We're going to go with Ivan, even though he's got a slight injury, because he says he's fully fit and he is our best centre-back. So we're going to go with him. We're going to go with Taiguara back in for Romeo Beckham. Romeo is on the bench. If I can bring him on to try and lift the trophy, that would be lovely. But Taiguara is so good that I need to play him. Gomez, Dafter and Watanabe. I realised I didn't actually tell you about Shez Dafter. We signed him in January for £25 million. He's just a really good, strong defensive midfielder. Wonder kid with great tackling and positioning and teamwork. So he comes in to play this DM role here, and I think he's been quite good at it. As well as, and Gomez, by the way, has gone to a new level this year, as well as Lucas up front with Sig Pawson. Now, a part of me thinks we should probably play Forbes, but Sig Pawson's been the big hero of the save. He has played 154 games for us. So he's going to start up front with Scott Lucas, who's got 341 appearances and 154 goals. Make it 155, lad, and I'd be very, very happy. Champions League final against Arsenal. We're not actually at match kickoff time yet. Here it is. Picking that team. Romeo off the bench. That'd be nice. Imagine he comes off the bench and scores as well. That'd be even better. I'm going for it. There's the Arsenal team. We are underway. I'm not quite sure where the final is. Didn't look it up. However, it just says Arsenal have historically held the advantage over us. There's their team. I don't care about their team because we're going to beat them. I'm feeling quite bullish for somebody who's lost to Arsenal most times we played them. But we're underway. Champions League final. Be a lovely ending, wouldn't it? Make it a lovely ending to this epic long video. 2 videos, actually. First 10 minutes, we've had the play, or the better of the play. 3 shots from us compared to Arsenal's 0. That's a good start. We kick off with a highlight with the keeper taking it for Arsenal. They're playing it around at the back. Lewis Skelly. Will they play through us here, or can we steal this ball back and set up our own chance? Remember, we've had all of the shots so far. This is like dangerous playing it around the back. If this is your team, you're worried about it. When it's against your team, you just expect them to put 5 passes together and then be in on goal. That's kind of actually what seems to be happening. Here's Martinelli. Given away. Good tackle from Jesus. He goes down the left-hand side. He's got players in the middle. Scott Lucas is in there. Gomez is in there. We lead in the Champions League final. Matteo Gomez, who scored the opener against Norwich. I think he scored both against Norwich. Has scored the opener in the Champions League final. I talked about him going to a new level this year. That's what happens with these young players. They can go to the new level. Arsenal did give the ball away. We did win it back. We take the lead. Gabriel Martinelli still plays for them. How old is he, by the way? He's 32 and still starting up front for them. 27 minutes on the clock. We've got the lead in a Champions League final. I'm not panicking. You are. Here comes Ivan, our centre-back. He's massive and he loves to run with the ball. Gomez. Watanabe. I'd love a Scott Lucas goal. I really won't lie to you. Sig Pawson. Wouldn't mind a goal from him either. He's hit the post, I think. Either keeper made the save or that was tipped onto the post there. We are approaching half-time. Over half an hour in. It's 8 minutes to play for the first half. I'm feeling good because all of the highlights we've seen have been us. Washington down the right-hand side. Gomez is at the back post. Oh, he's headed over. That's a chance. That is an actual chance, isn't it, from a really good player. Taiguara's picks up a knock. Slightly worried about this. Is that we keep him on the pitch and bring on Romeo Beckham, though. That's kind of what I think we should do. Right now, I'm sorry, Taiguara, but you're going to have to carry on. I'm not replacing you yet. You need to try and get to 60 or 70, in all honesty. We have got other changes we could do. Sig Pawson could be replaced here to freshen things. Dafter's not playing great. I'm going to do one change. I'm going to do Dafter first for Vilena. I'm going to do... Who else did I say wasn't playing amazingly? We could do Sig Pawson for Forbes, because that is an actual upgrade quality-wise. And we'll try and get to 65, 70, and we'll do Romeo Beckham. For my sins, I do want him on the pitch, and we are dominating Arsenal here. That's 63. It would be the perfect retribution for that bottle job that we did last year. We've got... Oh my God, they've got a corner. I thought that was us there. The white looked kind of blue. Corner to them, headed over. Okay, not even another corner for them. Perfect. 70 minutes on the clock. It's time to get Taiguara off. He's been injured for ages. Romeo Beckham is on. Is that silly? I'm leaving. I'm doing it. Anybody else that we need to try and get onto the pitch here? I don't think so right now. I'm worried about Ivan's yellow card, but he's really good. So I'm going to keep him on. Watanabe's quite tired, but maybe I save the stoppage. It gives us, I think, 2 more subs to make as well. Corner to us. Washington towards Ivan. We're going to recycle it. Forbes for Jesus. That's a great ball. Lucas. Oh, I thought he was going to get his Champions League moment. Diogo Costa came out to claim it. And the highlight does continue. We do have the ball back. I was worried that Arsenal were going to go up the other. Lucas is in. He's put it wide. I think he was offside. It doesn't matter. That was the chance. I'd love a Lucas goal or a Beckham goal. To be honest, I just love us to finish the game and win this. There's 10 to play. I do have other subs, so I'm going to use them just for time wasting purposes. Watanabe for... He's really tired. But can Bossman come on in the midfield? I think he can. And we swap these. That kind of fits. Also, Ivan, I kind of do... I think I'd rather do Bossman there. So maybe I leave him even though he's on the yellow. Gomez is playing well. We do have George Stanton on... Oops, I pressed the wrong one. We do have George Stanton on the bench who can play there quite well. Or Ross Leonard's very good. We'll do Ross Leonard for now. I'm going to do those 2 subs. 9 to play. I'm going to get it to 85, 86. And I'm going to do it. We're going to go time wasting and we're going to be more disciplined and see if we can win a Champions League as well as the Premier League in our final season here. 5 minutes added on. Can this be the retribution for last season? Our bottle job doesn't matter if we win it here, which... Oh my God, there's a highlight. There's not a highlight. There's a chance. Oh, yes! We've done it! We've actually done it. We're actually getting to see him lift the trophy as well. Scotty Lucas. There he is. Our star boy, the number 10, has the Champions League trophy in his hands. With Romeo Beckham in there somewhere too. Weymouth are Champions League winners. We've taken Weymouth, the worst team on Football Manager 2024, according to SI, to Premier League winners and Champions League winners in 10 seasons. What a journey. What a save. What a player Scott Lucas is. In the comments down below, just to wax lyrical about Scotty Lucas, please, and how much he means to you. And also, thank you so much for watching. It's been the effort that's gone into recording this over the past few days is absurd. I feel like I'm actually losing my voice. But it's been a genuine pleasure. Romeo Beckham, Scott Lucas, Champions League and Premier League winners. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Next video, by the way, that I'm working on. I think we should do a movie soon. Would you agree? Catch you next time. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye. Come on.